All right, so this is today's homework on graphing from standard form. So first thing I need to do is identify my x-intercepts. I need to set this equal to 0 and solve. All right, and so for this one, I'm gonna go ahead and use the rational root theorem. All right, so my possible P over Q's, my possible answers, right, are plus or minus just 1 and 5. So if I set up my synthetic division, -1, 4, don't forget the 0, -5. And then I start guessing. I'll start with -1. And I get -2. That's not the end of the world because now I know that the point 1, -2 is on the graph. So I could just go ahead and plot that right now. Right, you could keep track of that with the table of values over here. All right, if you just plot the point, you don't need to do the table of values. But again, right, the remainder theorem states, right, whatever the remainder is the y coordinate for that given x that you're trying there. All right, so I'll erase that and I'll try -1. So if I try -1, now I get +1, 5, -5, -5. Okay, so that does work. Okay, so -1, 0 is an x-intercept. All right, and so now I have a quadratic left, -x² plus 5x minus 5. And so since there's nothing that multiplies up to 5 and adds up to 5, okay, adds up to -5, I'm going to go ahead and use the quadratic formula to see if my other zeros are real or imaginary. All right, so x equals -b plus or minus the square root of b squared. So 25 minus 4ac. So this one's going to stay negative because there's 3 negatives there. So -4 times -1 is +4 times -5 is -20 all over -2. All right, so I'm going to get 5 plus or minus rad 5 over 2. All right, and so at this point, I'm going to want to change this is real. They're irrational. I'm going to want to change rad 5 into a decimal. Okay, so if you type in rad 5, it's 2 point something. Okay, and then so you're going to go 5 plus 2 point something. Okay, it's 7 point something divided by 2. Right, that's going to be 3 point something. So a little bit more than 3.5. Then you do 5 minus rad 5. So 5 minus 2 point something is 2.9, 2.8 divided by 2, right? And you're going to get 1 point something. All right, and so now we look at our end behaviors. We got our 3 zeros. We look at our end behaviors, it's odd. So my right end behavior is going down because my leading coefficient is negative. All right, opposite, so my left end behavior is going up. All right, my y-intercept is -5. Plug in 0, I get -5, just my constant. Okay. And so what I should really do is plug in 2 and 3 to see kind of how high it goes over here. All right, so if I plug in 3, I'll just do one of them for the sake of time. I'll use synthetic division again. So if I plug in 3, oops, I didn't erase it all. So I get -3, that's 1, 3, 9, that's 4. So at 3, it's 4. All right, so we know we're going to be coming down here. We're going to be coming up through here and back down. So my graph is going to look something like that. Again, I'm just using, you could use the calculator to be exact on these decimals. I was just trying to approximate it. So that's how I would graph that one. Okay. Now number 2. So again, I'm going to have to do synthetic division. Okay, rational root theorem. -1, 10, -33, 36. All right, so all the factors of 36, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 9, 12, 18, and 36. All right, so we'll start guessing. We know my y-intercept is 36. That's way up there. All right, so if I guess 1, -9, -33 plus 9 is what? -24. So that's going to be 12. So 112 is a point on my graph. Okay, so that's going to be a little bit too high still for what's given to me there. Erase. All right, let's try -1. That's super high. Okay, so that's 58. Try +2. So we get -2, 8, 16, -17, -34, 2, so at 2, 2. All right, so that's there. All right, so I know we're coming down, so let's try 3. Try 3, I get -3, 7, 21, -12, -36, 0. So 3 does work. 3 is one of my answers. Okay, and now I have -x² plus 7x minus 12. I'm just going to change these signs around to make it x squared minus 7x plus 12. Okay, so what I did was I just divided both sides by negative there. And so what multiplies up to 12 and adds up to negative 7, so that's going to be x minus 3, x minus 4. And then so my other two zeros are positive 3 and 4. All right, so this 3 happening twice, all right, tells me that it's got to bounce off of that. Okay, it's got to bounce off of 3. All right, because that has a multiplicity of 2. So my end behaviors here, again, it's negative and odd. So my right end behavior is going down. Okay, and obviously this one is going up very fast. And so it's going to bounce and change direction and come back down. It's going to look something like that. Again, I can plug in 3.5 if I wanted to find out exactly how high it went there. But again, we're just sketching here. All right, so we've got our graph that looks something like that. All right. All right, now number 3, we're going to list off our P's and Q's. All right, so 8 is just plus or minus 1, 2, 4, and 8. All right, so if we set up our synthetic division, 1, negative 8, 3, 50, and 8. Okay, we try 1. All right, we get 1, negative 7, negative 7, negative 4, negative 4, 46, and that's going to be 54. All right, so we have the point 1, 54. All right, and we already know 0, 8, right? That's our y-intercept. All right, so let's try 2, and then we'll try 4. Let me erase. All right, so if I try 2, get negative 6, that's negative 12, negative 9, negative 18, 32, 64, that's 72. So 272. All right. All right, let's try 4. This one's going to work. Negative 4, negative 16, negative 13, negative 52, negative 2, negative 8, 0. So 4 worked. Okay, so 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 0. All right, so let's keep going down here then. All right, let's try some negatives. What about negative 1? You get -1, -5, 5, -8, 8, and that is 6. Okay, so that didn't work. -1, 6. Oh, sorry. So this, I'm glad I made that little mistake right there. That is not an actual point, okay, because I did that from this factored form. So the remainder only works if I did it from the original one, right? So 1, 6 is not, or -1, 6 is not a point. Okay, it does not work. It's not a 0, but it's not a point. All right, so we're still looking for another 0 over here. So we're going to try -2. -6. That's 12. This one's going to work. -1, and then 2. All right, and so -2, 0 is going to work. All right, now I have this quadratic left. Okay, so I have x squared minus 6x minus 1 equals 0. That's not factorable, so I'm going to have to use the quadratic formula again. Okay, so that is 6 plus or minus, it's going to end up being 36 plus 4, which is 40, over 2. All right, and so 40, that's going to be like 6.6, or 6, not 6.6, 6 point something. Okay, so 6 plus is actually probably like 6.2 maybe, if that. Okay, we'll approximate it at 6.2 over 2. So we add that up, right? We're going to get 12, so it's like 6.1 something. All right, and then the other one's going to be a negative, so 6.1, but it's really small. So negative 0. So there you get -0.2 divided by 2, so negative 0.1 approximately. Those aren't exact, so it's going to look really close to 0, 0, and the other one's at 6.1, 4, 5, 6. All right, so those are our 4 X-intercepts. We know it goes really high, so notice it's not numbered, right? So if I just counted by tens, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. This would be 80 up here. Let's just say we're counting by tens on the y-axis. So 154, right, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 would be right around there. 272 would be around there. Okay, 0.8, my y-intercept would be around there. I don't have a 1 here, a -1. If I plugged in -1, I would get -30. All right, so my end behavior should be both going up. All right, and we should have enough here to do this. We're going to come down here. Okay, don't know how low exactly. It's going to come through my my x-intercept at -0.1, go through my y-intercept at 8. It's going to come up. It's going to keep coming up. It's going to change direction. And again, I did not take the time to plug in a number here, but assume it's going to go down pretty low and then come back up. Again, if I wanted to plug in 5, that'd be a good number to plug in to see what it was. If I plugged in 5, I'd get -42. So maybe I went down a little bit too low. All right. But that's how you would do that. Okay. The more points you plug in over here, the more accurate your graph will be. All right. But we're just sketching. So that's a pretty good one, right? We know it's going to be that even degree. So it's same direction. It's positive leading coefficient both up. We found all 4 x-intercepts, even though 2 of them are irrational, we can still plot them. All right, so that's number 3. All right, number 4. All right, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys do that one on your own. So we do know some things about it, right? Degrees 4, so both end behaviors are going up. My y-intercept's at -9. All right, so go ahead and work on that one, and then I'll show you what it should look like. So I'm just going to pause the video right now, and when you look back, the work will be on. So you should pause it right now too. All right, so I've done some work here. I did my P over Qs, tried 1, it didn't work, gave me -32. I tried -1, it worked. Then I noticed I could do factor by grouping. Okay, so then I got x squared minus 9, x plus 1, so I got x equals plus or minus 3, x equals -1. So -1 happened twice, so I'm going to have a multiplicity. So again, when I'm graphing that multiplicity 2, that means there's going to be a bounce. Okay, so I put my other x-intercepts at +3 and -3. Okay, and then I also found at where -2 was -5 and +2 was -45. So now my end behaviors are both going up. All right, so at -2, it's -5. But I got to get down to 45 here. So I'm going to, I guess again, over here, like I guess I could count by tens again. So 45, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So 45 would be right around there. Because 0, -9 then would be there. 1, -32. So 20, 32 would be right around there. And then 2, I'm sorry, 2 is -45. Boom, boom, let me erase that one. -2 was -5. All right, so I think I got enough here to draw this. So it's going to come through. All right, it's going to hit this. It's got to bounce off. It's got to come through these points, come back up. And my W is going to look something like that. Not really a W, but my graph here. All right, so there we go. That is the homework for today.